Back on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Your money questions answered. This segment on the show, we're going to talk about a really important practical thing. How does a person, or how should a person, break up with their financial advisor? See, I was, past tense, I was a financial advisor. No, I was not barred from the industry for all sorts of violations. I just sold my business and I do other things within the financial world. But I had people break up with me all the time. I had clients decide they no longer wanted me to be their advisor. I've had a financial advisor personally who I decided I no longer wanted to be my financial advisor. So therefore, I have been dumped and I have dumped both financial advisors and ladies. Sorry, Nicole, that got weird.
No, I'm just shaking my head out here.
Okay. There's a right and a wrong way to break up with anyone of any relationship, but today we're focusing on financial advisors. So we're going to do this from two different perspectives. We're going to do with like mechanically, how do you do it? Because there are three methods of which you can actually physically do this. And then we're going to talk about why you should do it and why that, like, philosophically, is that okay? Is that fair, Nicole?
Yes, it's just you working through that was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there's three ways. Okay, so Nicole, let me set up this scenario for you.
Please.
Let's say your name is Joan.
I could be a Joan.
You're Joan, and you and your husband, Kent,
Ooh, that's way too real.
Yeah.
That's way too real.
you and Kent have a financial advisor named...
Donald.
No. I
No,
don't like
you
that
didn't
one.
like Donald?
Nope. No, I'm just going to say no to that.
Oh,
I'm going to go with
I didn't even.
Philip.
I was
His
going to say
name is
Reggie,
Philip.
but okay.
Reggie. That guy, Ted's guy's Reggie. So let's go with
I
Philip.
need to just stop in general now.
Philip, your advisor's name is Philip, you and Kent, okay, Joan? And you decide, you meet with another financial advisor named Laurie. And Laurie is a really good financial advisor. And you're like, man, I think we'd rather work with Laurie. And so here's how you would break up with Kent. Oh, wait, that's your husband. Don't break up with him. With Philip, appropriately, you have three choices. You can have Laurie send the paperwork over. And part of that paperwork is something called an ACAT, which is an account transfer form. So there's full ACATs or partial ACATs where some of the accounts are going to come over, because they're managing your money. So you could do this from a very technical standpoint of saying, all right, Laurie, send notification to Philip's firm that you are my new financial advisor. So she could do it on your behalf, and you would never have to speak with them ever again. You would never technically have to speak with your old advisor, Philip. That is one thing you could do, and it happens all the time.
It's kind of shady.
I don't know if it's shady.
Shisty?
Shisty, I don't know. It's something, though. I don't even know if it's unethical. It's the low road, right? If there's a high road, it is the low road.
It's the low road.
The second thing you could do is you could actually contact your advisor, thank them for their service, and ask for transfer out paperwork. Now, when people broke up with me, when I was a financial advisor, I preferred this. And I had a personal philosophy, or professional philosophy, I guess, is that I was not going to try to talk them out of it. I was going to try to get to a point where they could explain to me. They didn't have to defend their decision. That's not what I was asking. I was asking for critical feedback as to what could I have done better, right? Not just me. And hopefully your advisor would do that. Now, here's some reasonable reasons to leave a financial advisor. Here are real reasons why you would. And if you feel like it, if you're breaking up with your advisor over the phone, I think it'd be great if you told them one of these reasons, if these are in fact the reasons. Here's the reasonable ones. Number one, consistently underperforming the market in spite of taking similar risks to the market. So Nicole, if your financial advisor, Philip, is not doing as well as the stock market in general, yet you are taking more risks, that's not good.
Right.
And that's on a consistent basis, not on a month to month or even on an annual basis, but like more of a stretched out period.
Stretchy.
Bail. Number two, high or unexplainable fees. Either high or unexplainable fees. That's a reason to break up with a professional.
Yeah.
Number 3, poor service. Look, in the spirit of transparency, I had people break up with me, never really because of higher unexplainable fees, but underperforming the market. No, not really, because as an advisor, I always just tried to be the market, right? That's financial advisors either try to beat the market or be the market. I always tried to be the market. I never got broken up because of higher unexplainable fees because I really didn't have that many fees. Poor service. Yeah, I probably had people break up with me for poor service. Occasionally you drop the ball. It's not something you're proud of, but if your advisor's consistently dropping the ball and you're not getting served however you want, you're paying them a fee, break up with them. Nothing wrong with that. Bad personality match. Absolutely, people broke up with me for that. I'm okay with that. And a disagreement of overall investment philosophy. I had people break up with me over that because my philosophy, as I just gave you when I was an advisor, was to be the market, not to beat the market. I had no interest personally as an investor right now or as an advisor to try to beat the stock market. I'm very happy getting what the returns of the Dow Jones or the S&P 500 are. And even as you listen to this right now as a consumer of this program, you may think, boy, I'm glad he was never my advisor. I disagree with that. Great. Find an advisor who thinks the way you think. So those are all reasons why you would want to break up with someone. Now, the third way to do it, okay, the first way, Nicole, was to have the new advisor do it.
Yes.
Second way was to call them up and do it yourself. Third way is to actually call the 1-800 number associated with the firm. So let's say your person works for a large investment company. On your statement, there is a 1-800 number that's the service center. You can call them up and have them initiate the transfer work. Now, I think you would primarily want to do this if you're trying to create a paper trail. So listen to me closely here.
Okay.
Sometimes you're ending a relationship with a financial advisor because there may be a legal issue.
Oh.
And if you're doing that, you can best document that by calling the 1-800 number on your statement, because those people, although they are associated with the local office servicing you, they're disconnected from a personality standpoint. They don't personally know them.
Right. So they don't have any skin in the game in terms of that firm.
Now, on top of that, this is important to note. If it's serious enough that you feel like you need to have a paper trail, and there really is a legal issue, you can file a complaint with your local sort of market authority, which was generally going to be the Secretary of State's office in your state. They have an investment division who is essentially the SEC of your state. That's who you would file a complaint with. Or you can go to FINRA. FINRA is a huge regulatory body, and you can file a complaint. Or you can actually file a complaint at that 1-800 number when you call them. But when I say complaint, I don't mean getting on Yelp going, the French fries were cold, 2 stars. Like, it's not that sort of complaint. If you file a formal complaint against a financial advisor, that stays on their permanent record. That should not be taken lightly. If they gave you bad service, don't complain. Just leave them. If you disagree with their philosophy, even though their philosophy is fine, you just disagree with it, don't complain. Just leave them. If they have high fees, don't complain formally. Just leave them. If they consistently underperform the market, do not lodge a formal complaint. Just leave them. If they've committed fraud, if you feel like they've taken your money, if you feel like they've committed a crime, report them. But if you report them just because you have to justify breaking up with them, and the only way you can do it is with this extreme way of formally reporting them, don't do that, because you can ruin their career. You're not trying to torch their career. You're just leaving your relationship with them. Is that fair, Nicole?
Yes, I like that you said torch.
I felt right.
It did feel right.
Here's another strange reality. Sometimes when your things aren't going well with you and your financial advisor, it's not actually your financial advisor's fault. They, based on how their company works, may only be able to provide certain types of investments or certain types of services, and they are restricted from offering services that you possibly want. And so if your new advisor can offer these services, but your old advisor can't, don't blame your old advisor. Their hands are tied. That's their employer. Their employer doesn't allow them to do it. And by the way, if they did the things you wanted them to do, the other place can do, they would be in trouble. So you don't vilify a financial advisor that can't serve your needs just because they don't have the services you want, because a vast majority of the time, it's not their fault. That also has to do with pricing issues. If your advisor works for a large firm, that pricing is set by that large firm. If someone else comes along and tickles your fancy and you want to go to their firm because they've got lower fees, Whereas you're leaving the advisor because the fees are high, it's not necessarily that advisor's fault. It's just the structure they have to work in. Like if you don't want to order a pepperoni pizza from Papa John's because you don't like their pepperoni and you prefer Domino's pepperoni, that's fine. Just order Domino's pepperoni pizza, but don't hold anger against Papa John's. The local franchisee can't do anything about it. It's not their fault. It's just the pepperoni they're required to buy. So that's how you break up with a financial advisor. Coming up after the break. We're going to talk about the biggest waste of money of week. The biggest waste of money. All that is next, right here on the Pete the Planner radio show. I'm Pete the Planner.